porn is hijacking your mind. You have to think about it this way. How many naked women did our ancestors get a chance to see, whether in real life or virtually? It's incomparable to what we have nowadays. Nowadays, the access we have to sexual images is insane. We could be watching millions of naked women through the course of our life. And it's not even an exaggeration. And you think about this number, 1 million naked women. Even that number should scare you. You don't need to have the science behind the negative effects of porn to be scared, to be terrified. Our brain was simply not made for that. The way porn acts on your brain is through a negative way, not a positive way. Because yes, at the beginning, you get short-term pleasure and you laugh about it with friends. You can watch comedies like American Pie or college teen movies talking about porn like it's nothing. At the beginning, we did not know the effects that porn could have on us, on our lives, relationship, and on our brains. It's easier to keep it as a taboo or something to laugh about, but it is much more nefarious than you might think. There have been studies that show that when you ejaculate through porn, you have the same relief as if you had done cocaine. Nowadays, people talk more about porn like an addiction, which is great. We have more and more knowledge when it comes to the negative effects of porn. One of which is that porn is like cocaine and alcohol, which means it released a high level of dopamine that the brain is not supposed to receive. In other words, when you watch porn, you release a high level of dopamine, and those dopamine receptors we have in our brains will be fewer and fewer over time. And not only will they get more scarce and more rare, but they are also less receptive. So when you do watch porn, those dopamine receptors will become rarer and they will become less receptive, which means that you will not get the same high, the same pleasure, even if you were to continue watching porn over time. You will need to increase the quantity, the intensity, and the variety. And not only that, you will not get the same pleasure as at the beginning, unless you don't watch porn often. But I'm talking about people who consume a lot of porn on a day-to-day basis. So you increase the tolerance you have to porn, but it enables you at the same time to focus, to enjoy the small thing, because you have fucked up your dopamine receptors, and dopamine is what makes things pleasurable. It's what gives you motivation to do hard things when you use it the proper way. But when you use something like porn, you are giving that high level of dopamine release, which is fucking your brain up and those dopamine receptors. So you are not able to be disciplined, to be focused, to pursue something worthwhile because you are watching too much porn. So you see how porn has negative effect on your brain and on your life. And not only that, obviously, with relationship, especially towards your woman or the woman around you. But that's a subject for another video. For now, I'm talking about how porn hijacks your brain. You cannot expect to continue watching porn on a regular basis and expect to have a brain that is functioning properly. If you keep on going in that direction, dopamine receptors are fewer, and those dopamine receptors are less receptive, which means you don't enjoy the small things in life. You cannot focus, which has huge consequence on your life, because all of that stuff can lead to a state of apathy, pain, guilt, and it can lead to depression and even suicide. That happens, and obviously the extreme spectrum, but it does happen. It's something you should take seriously, especially as a young man, you have so much potential and you have all the energy you need to achieve things in life. Now, as they say, youth is wasted on the young, but you don't need to follow that path. Give up porn and reach your fullest potential. Because I'm telling you, whether you're addicted or you watch porn a few times a week, there is no way your brain will function as well as someone who does not watch porn at all. So yes, porn does hijack your brain, and it would be a good idea to actually think about quitting it while you still can. I mean, I'm joking. You always can. Everybody can quit porn, but the sooner you do it, the easier it will be. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Sebastian, your addiction recovery coach. If you need my help, links are in the description box below. For those of you who really want to quit porn.